The following is an overview of the learning progression in the domain of physical science related to the next generation science standards. Specifically, we will look at the learning progression for some of the performance expectations related to energy and sound waves. First, let's consider the idea of energy. Students in kindergarten will have the performance expectations of making observations to determine the effect of sunlight on the Earth's surface, and using tools and materials to design and build a structure that will reduce the warming effect of sunlight on an area. The important thing to note here is the disciplinary core idea and the cross-cutting concepts. So the disciplinary core idea involves the conservation of energy and energy transfer. This is the student's first real experience with the idea of conservation of energy. The cross-cutting concept is cause and effect. So in kindergarten, students might be asked the question, how does sunlight affect the Earth's surface? Together, they will explore what is affected by the sun. An activity for this might include students planting their own vegetable garden at the school. Some students could grow their vegetables inside on a windowsill, while others could let their plants grow outside. Due to the nature of a kindergarten class, this could be a whole group experience, and teachers could help the students as a group observe what happens to the plants who have more sun than others. One way to engage all of the students would be to do a think, pair, and share. This is a great tool because it gets students to discuss with one another about their thoughts. They are able to make predictions about how their vegetables will grow based on the effects of the sunlight in the environment. They will see a related idea in fourth grade. In fourth grade, the performance expectation is to use evidence to construct an explanation relating to the speed of an object and the energy of that object. While this might sound like it doesn't relate to the kindergarten standard, let's look at the disciplinary core idea, which is definitions of energy. In this concept, students are exploring what energy means, and they are exploring the energy and matter cross-cutting concept, specifically that energy can be transferred in various ways and between objects. In fourth grade, students are asking, is there a relationship between speed and energy? Or what makes something go faster? An example activity for this might be that students use a straw and tape it to a balloon so that they can blow up the balloon and track, using a piece of string, how far their balloon will go when the air is released. They can do this several times to make observations about the relationship between how much air is in the balloon and how fast the balloon travels. Students are learning a lot about energy in fourth grade, and one way to tap into their prior knowledge might be to use the technology connection here, which is a Bill Nye science video on energy. It really helps them understand concepts of energy that might be helpful to their observations in this activity. Fifth grade, we really see this coming together. So the performance expectation for fifth grade is that they use models to describe energy in animals, to describe that energy in animals' food was once energy from the sun. So here we're seeing the link back to what they were learning about in kindergarten. If we look especially at the cross-cutting concept here, they are still exploring the idea that energy can be transferred in various ways and between objects. So in fifth grade, they're thinking about how sunlight is a form of energy. They're wondering, how does the food humans and animals eat connect to sunlight? The phenomenon here is really that they are exploring the energy food chain. A fun activity in this age group might be to have students make a chart or diagram related to what they ate last night. So they think about how it connects all the way back to the sun. Another way to tap into their prior knowledge from fourth grade would be to have them label the energy transfer at each point on their diagram. Let's consider the learning progression of waves. They will see this in first grade in their performance expectation, which is plan and conduct investigations to provide evidence that vibrating materials can make sound and that sound can make materials vibrate. Here it's important again to note the disciplinary core idea and the cross-cutting concepts. This is what you will see continue and progress. In first grade, it looks something like, how do vibrating materials make sound? An activity that would be fun to explore this concept would be to have all of the students in the classroom have instruments. Primarily, you're thinking about instruments where students can feel or see vibration. This is a great way to incorporate a different engagement idea. So if certain students have the same instrument, the teacher can call that instrument, and students who have that instrument can stand and play that instrument at one time so the class can observe that instrument and the vibrations it makes. Students will see the concept of waves again in fourth grade. In fourth grade, there will be several performance expectations. The first will be to develop a model of waves that describes patterns in terms of amplitude and wavelength, and that waves can cause an object to move. They'll also be expected to be able to develop a model to describe that light reflecting from objects and entering the eye allows objects to be seen, and generate and compare multiple solutions that use patterns to transfer information. It's important to note here the disciplinary core ideas. So here they are building on their prior knowledge of wave properties and expanding what they are expected to know. They are also noting the patterns and cause and effect of waves. A fun way to do an activity that will apply to several of the performance expectations in this core idea would be to have students create a Morse code to communicate in class. In this way, they will be creating wavelengths. They will also be able to create patterns that send information. Students could work together in groups to create their language, their code, and make sound waves that communicate their information. This concludes the learning progression for the domain of physical science related to energy and waves. Thank you for participating.